To the Gore Guide and first official film review. Yay! Yay me! Enough of that. Today I'll be talking about Brain Dead, or Dead Alive as it's known in the States. If you've seen my introduction video, then this probably seems a little bit hypocritical. There's a section in my video where I talk about all the lists, mainly talking about the most popular films and most well-known films, and then of course I start my definitive list with one of the most well-known splatter films ever. But it's Brain Dead. It's brilliant.
Not all of it.
Because I have to start somewhere, right? And what better place to start than one of the best and most beloved splatter films ever made. So, for those of you that haven't seen it, and for those of you that have and just want a quick reminder, a brief plot summary. Brain Dead is centered around Lionel, who still lives at home with his very overbearing mother. One day, one of his many errands involves him going to the local store to buy groceries, where he meets Paquita, who has just been told by her grandmother that she's about to meet the man of her dreams.
There will be one romance, and it shall last forever.
They arrange to go on a first date to the zoo, where they're followed by Vera, Lionel's mother. Unfortunately, while she's snooping around in the bushes, spying on her son, she gets bitten by the Sumatran rat monkey. Obviously, she doesn't react well to the bite. I mean, who would? It's a rat monkey. But her condition slowly declines until she dies. Not for long. When Vera inevitably rises from the grave, Lionel finds himself once again waiting on her hand and foot. Only this time she's not alone. His already ridiculous situation becomes even more difficult when his Uncle Les turns up. Les finds the freshly sedated zombies in the cellar and seizes the opportunity to blackmail Lionel. While Les and his friends are partying away upstairs, Lionel goes down into the basement to finally put an end to his new brain dead family by giving them a lethal injection.
You must destroy them.
Unfortunately, said lethal injection actually has the opposite effect, turns them into rabid, bloodthirsty zombies. They promptly escape from the cellar, join in Les's house party, and start a chaotic killing spree, which culminates in one of the bloodiest final acts ever put on film. Brain Dead was Peter Jackson's last venture into splatter comedy. He gained some notoriety with Bad Taste, which is another classic, before toning things down a little bit with Heavenly Creatures and The Frighteners. Both very good films, but on a different level. Of course, he then went on to greater things with The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. While watching the film, you can kind of see a lot of Peter Jackson's influences. Night of the Living Dead, obviously, with the zombies and the house invasion. But there's also Evil Dead 2, with the gory slapstick and some of the zombie makeup. It looks a little bit like the Deadites. At one point, there's even a severed hand that takes on a life of its own as well. Another film that seems to have been an influence would be Psycho, with the ominous house on the hill, the overbearing mother-son relationship. There's even a similarity in appearance between Lionel and Norman Bates. While we're on the subject of similarities, Uncle Les, does he kind of remind you of a current orange president? Maybe a little bit? Just saying, just throwing it out there. So what's good about Brain Dead? Well, what isn't good about Brain Dead? There's the practical effects, obviously. They're fantastic. Even after 3 decades, it's not hard to see why this film still gets put at the top of many lists compiling the bloodiest films ever made. In fact, the only reason these realistic effects aren't more gross and disturbing is because they're almost entirely done for comedy value. Although the premise is fairly simple, it's basically just a rom-com. never feels detrimental to the film itself because each of the individual aspects is so well done. Instead of your basic love story here, you have twisted love triangle between Lionel and his overbearing mom and Paquita. The comedy is also genuinely funny, mixing the dark Kiwi sense of humour with physical comedy and slapstick. Braindead never tries to be scary, and even though the gore will have a lot of people reaching for their sick bags, even the grossest moments are mostly hilarious. So, funniest moment. This is difficult because there's so many. It's a really funny film. But I guess if I was to pick one, I would probably pick the scene with the dribbling Nazi vet.
What do you want?
The zombies aren't your typical undead either. They seem almost harmless for the majority of the film. And apart from the occasional unfortunate person, they cause more harm to themselves than to anybody else. Although the film revolves mostly around Lionel, Tim Balm does a tremendous job as Lionel. Every actor brings a little something, and everybody does a really good job. So what is bad about Braindead? Well, if I have to be picky, I guess I would say that maybe the stop motion and puppets are a little bit crappy, but only when compared to the excellent practical makeup effects. The difference in quality stands out quite a lot when you jump from such great effects like a guy pulling himself apart in a doorway and his intestines falling out and everything, and then jump into some giant saggy boob, big arsed rat monkey woman. I don't know. They're wonderful and crappy at the same time. I'm not sure whether this can be considered a bad thing about the film, but unfortunately a lot of people have a preconception. If they haven't seen it already, they've heard about it, so they might find the first half of the film a bit slow. While there is plenty of gore in the first hour, a lot of time is spent on character development and comedic moments.
I kick ass for the Lord!
The film is mostly, and unfairly, just known for its final 30 minutes of carnage, so there may be a bit of a misconception that it's a bloodbath from start to finish. Just don't be impatient. The build-up makes the finale even more satisfying. So now we get to the good stuff, the gore. If you haven't seen the film, I don't want to spoil it for you. There's obviously a lot that I could put here, but I wouldn't want to put everything because that'd spoil the fun for you.
Party's over.
My personal favourite kill is when the Kung Fu priest takes on 3 zombies and he rips the arms and legs off one of them and then kicks his head off. So I would give Braindead 5 out of 5 for amount of blood and also 5 out of 5 for the quality of the effects. So my overall rating for the film, well, it's no surprise, 5 out of 5. Shocker. And that's it, Braindead. If you haven't seen it, watch it. If you have seen it, watch it again. It's fantastic. So because I'm so bad at making decisions, I'm going to use a random number generator to to pick the next film from my letterbox list. So let's see what we have in store. So we have number 786. So I just need to find that in my list. We'll be right back. Okay, 786 is Dolly Deadly. I've never heard of it, but looks like I'm watching it. So I'll put the link below to my letterbox list. Take a look and see what's coming up. Let me know if you have any recommendations or suggestions of films that I might have missed or anything that you would like to see reviewed here. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and click on the bell to keep up to date with new content. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned and have a bloody good time.